everybody, man? It's your boy Real Talk Live Sports, aka the Ghetto Stephen A. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you share these videos on whatever social platform. And I hope everybody who's watching this video is well and blessed. Let's talk boxing. David Benavidez, 24 years of age, hungry, super middleweight champion, former two-time WBC champion. David Benavidez is ready to get back in the ring. More importantly, he's ready to take the reins of being champion once again. You know what I'm saying? It's when you work and you work and you work and you become champion and then you lose your title because you can't make weight, let alone if you get beat. That's a tough feeling. And that's a feeling that David Benavidez is living with. And he's ready to put those situations behind him. I can't say losses, you know what I'm saying? Because he's 23-0 with 20 knockouts, has a great record, but unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, like lost his title due to weight issues. Hopefully he has that behind him because that's a matter of discipline. And like I said, at 24 years of age, sometimes you have lapses, you know what I mean? The same thing happened to Tank Davis, but he came back, got his titles back. David Benavidez is looking to do the same thing. Now, who will he face? We all know who he wants to fight. He wants the Plant fight. He thinks Caleb Plant is you know what I'm saying? He think he can, you know what I mean, wipe the floor with Caleb Plant, especially after his last performance. But he also been calling out Jermall Charlo and also Canelo Alvarez. He just recently told Jermall Charlo, look, no subliminal messages. If you got something to say my name. And I respect that. Because a lot of people, they talk sideways, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to mention your name because they know what it is. They got to talk behind your back because they can't face you. Now, Jermall Charlo, beast. Being trained by Derek James, just won Trainer of the Year. It won't be an easy fight. But David Benavidez can give Jermall Charlo a lot of problems. And vice versa. That's what makes for good fights. When you don't have a one-sided fight, you have something that could potentially be legendary. David Benavidez and Jermall Charlo, that will be a great fight. I believe that will be more of a close phone booth kind of fight because boxing, I don't think that fight is going to be a boxing match. I don't even think if these two guys get into the ring, it's going the distance. Benavidez, tall, rangy, has incredibly quick hands for a big guy. And he throws very quick and precise combinations. So if he take this fight on the inside, I believe that could be the key to victory for Jermall Charlo. Now, I wouldn't say so much so about Canelo because Canelo is great fighting on the inside and transitioning, you know what I'm saying, to fighting on the back foot, reestablishing his range and closing in and out and moving out of the gaps. And Canelo has great angles. His footwork ain't super explosive, but with his upper body movement, it takes up for it. Now, Benavidez, like I said, he's a great boxer, man, has a nice jab. And like I said, he has quick hands. So closing in that gap, all he does is have to utilize that jab. And once he gets in close, let his hands go. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that he, as much as he puts upstairs, he puts downstairs, transitions out, reestablishes that range, and keeps his distance. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he will win a slug match with Canelo. I don't think that would be the best game plan for Canelo. I think if he fights Canelo, boxing ability would take precedence in that fight. Jermall Charlo, you can bring it in close a little bit because he's not known for being a slugger on the inside, but you never know what guys is working on these days. You know what I'm saying? So who knows how that will turn out. That's if it became an inside game. But like I said, Jermall Charlo possesses great power, great boxing ability, and he can bang, but he's not known for getting there and banging it out with people on the inside. But like I said, his power is scary. And if you approach him in a wrong way, you can get knocked out early. You know what I'm saying? Look what happened to the Lubins of the world. So Benavidez has to be smart, but at the same time, I do believe he should be aggressive, especially when fighting Jermall Charlo, because the Charlo brothers are known for one thing. Besides being good boxers and possessing power, they're also known for their aggressiveness. They are aggressive, smart, tactical fighters. Derek James, like I said, he makes sure that his guys has the basic principles of boxing and they master it, learning how to sit down on their punches. Once Spence and the Charlo brothers developed this talent, as far as sitting down on their punches behind their boxing ability and raw talent, it has made them extremely dangerous. So if David Benavidez gets in there with Jermall Charlo, he has to be smart, but at the same time, fight your fight. He also possesses speed. He also possesses power. And the edge that I would give him in that Jermall Charlo fight is his hand speed ability. He throws very quick combinations, precise combinations, and he has power at the end of his shots. So once he starts throwing these shots, especially if he starts masking shots just to go downstairs or going downstairs, mask it just to come upstairs and set something up top. Like I said, he has a nice left hook to the body and left hook to the head. You know what I'm saying? So Benavidez has some great weapons, and being young, he's still maturing, he's still learning as a professional fighter. So it's kind of scary. So if he fights Jermall Charlo, I think that's my opinion. That can be a 50-50 fight. Canelo, I would say 60-40. And I ain't talking about the split, because Canelo also is very good with his hands. Great hand speed. And like I said, with his upper body movement, that gives him the edge over a lot of guys. Because if you do possess speed and hand speed and combination speed like Benavidez does, when you face somebody like Canelo, who has great upper body movement, who can snuff a lot of these shots, you know what I'm saying? It's tough. So you have to not only place your shots correctly, but you have to set your shots up. And your timing is going to have to also be good on Canelo, because Canelo is a master not only at timing, but he times you not necessarily off your own shot, but if this makes sense to anybody, but also off your own rhythm. Because once he figure out how you fight, he uses your rhythm and your offense against you. He learns what kind of shots you like to place, and he puts his body in position to offset those shots and get a counter shot off just at the same time. Very tricky, but if you watch Canelo and if you understand boxing, man, you guys understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, a trainer out there knows what I'm talking about. It's not only about offense, reading and knowing which opponent likes to throw as far as his favorite shot. Deontay Wilder, right hand. You know what I'm saying? Also, movement. That's how Marquez caught Manny Pacquiao. That's how he finally put Manny Pacquiao to sleep. It took a few fights, but with Manny Pacquiao's movement, Marquez finally got on the outside. Manny Pacquiao came at the wrong angle coming in, was looking this way when he should have been looking at Marquez, and wham, you know what I'm saying? He got caught with that right hand, put him straight to sleep. That's what I'm talking about. Using your opponent's mobility and their ability against them. Only top level fighters can do this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's more about understanding not only boxing, but movement. Like I said, boxing is a sweet science. And once you understand certain things, then you can implement certain things in your game. That's what makes talent like your Jerome Boots Ennis, you know what I'm saying, so intriguing. Because when you have young fighters that can understand these things and then go into the ring, you know what I'm saying, and do and show people not only their abilities, but how they can dismantle an opponent with these tools. You know what I'm saying? So the mindset, David Benavidez, young, hungry, aggressive, smart, and hopefully he has learned from his lessons and he will come into these fights, whichever fight that gets made next, smarter, wiser. I definitely believe he's going to be stronger and faster, because see, if you're looking at the clips, these is current. You know what I'm saying? Hand speed looks explosive. Power he looks as strong as ever. You know what I'm saying? So he just recently spent some time over there at the RGBA with Robert Garcia and Mikey Garcia. Shout out to them and the family. You know what I'm saying? And also Pita. You know what I mean? So it's like that quote unquote Mexican style, David Benavidez is holding it down. So if he's learning a couple tricks from Robert Garcia, you better watch out, because I just got finished doing a video when I told you guys, man, Robert Garcia, they're very aggressive as far as how they train their fighters, man. Look at Virgil Ortiz, man. Shout out to Virgil Ortiz. He's getting ready for Maurice Hooker. So if he starts to learn a couple of tips and tricks from Robert Garcia as far as how to press and push and still get off your offense while utilizing your defense, somebody's going to be in trouble. And like I said, Jermall Charlo, see, these fights need to be made. You know what I'm saying? We have to start putting politics to the side, and the best have to start fighting the best. Because a lot of these guys who are holding on to the belts, man, they're in their 30s. You know what I'm saying? You have up-and-coming young talent, man. Your Jerron Boots Ennis, your Virgil Ortiz, your David Benavidez. You have a young breed of fighters that are coming up who are hungry, who are aggressive, who don't mind getting in the ring with whoever, because they just want to not only display their skills, but they believe they can beat you. And that's what I'm talking about. Put the politics and the business to the side, because that's why you got promoters and managers. Let them handle that. Unless you are a fighter who happen to be a promoter or your own manager, you know what I'm saying? Don't let that mix too much with your fighting game, because I do believe it will dilute your skill. Now, Floyd, shout out to Floyd Money Mayweather, but the indentation that Floyd left on the game as far as the money aspect, don't get me wrong. You want to get paid for fighting. This is your life, not only your job. So you want to secure the top dollar for your skills, period. Let me get that out the way. But don't get so caught up in the money that you forget about the boxing. You shouldn't be thinking about the check that you're going to get after the fight. You should only be thinking about the fight. That's what I'm saying. Like I said, your promoters, your manager, they are the ones who are supposed to secure you the biggest purses possible. And you as a fighter, once you get that name as far as who you're going to fight, then you have to go in there and handle your business. Matter of fact, even before that, because you always have to make sure that you stay ready. No fighter should go into camp having to drop dramatic weight. You know what I'm saying? That shows lack of discipline. Especially, you should never be, dependent upon your weight class, I would say 5 to 10 pounds over your weight limit. You look at Adrian Broner, shout out to AB, you know what I'm saying? His upcoming fight with Giovanni. Now look, Giovanni, excuse me. Adrian Broner, man, AB had to drop a lot of weight in order to come back to fight at 140. You know what I'm saying? And he looks good. But AB, despite what people say, once it's time for AB to lock in, he's incredibly, you know what I mean, disciplined and focused. You know what I'm saying? He's very good at psyching himself into a fight and keeping himself focused on the fight so he can get in there and do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? AB is a prime example of being about the bag, but at the same time being about boxing. You can say what you want, but he's also a promoter, you know what I mean? Shout out to About Billions. So that's what I'm saying. If you have two hats, if you're wearing two hats, you have to think about and implement two different game plans. You know what I mean? You're thinking about your financial game plan as well as your offensive game plan when you step into the ring. So Adrian Broner is one of those fighters. You know what I'm saying? Devin Haney is one of those fighters. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather, he is also one of those fighters. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, look, if you're not one of those fighters, and all you have to do is just depend on, like I said, or look at rather, the fighting aspect, focus on that, give that 110%, and you go in that ring and then you execute. You know what I'm saying? So, look, moving forward, who is going to land that fight? Will he get that fight with Canelo? Will he get that fight with Jermall Charlo? Who knows? But they have to start giving fight fans the fights, because guess what? We living in the days of COVID. So a lot of things can derail any super matchup. So that's why we have to stop putting the brakes on these mega fights. You know what I'm saying? Fans, especially at high capacity or max capacity, are not going to be able to get into stands for quite some time. A lot of people are not super stoked about going out there, getting the vaccine they don't know about. A lot of people are not 100% happy and comfortable about wearing a face mask. So therefore, that is going to hurt venues a lot. You know what I mean? A lot is going to have to be compromised as far as fighters, as far as how they go out there and fight. But at the same time, they still want to get paid, which they should. But fighters are going to have to compromise because you know you may not get the same thing at the gate because the gate nowadays is different because of COVID. So you're going to have to, you know what I mean? So if one of these fights happen, let's just say if Benavidez does get the Charlo fight, who's going to be the backup? Because in today's day and age, you know what I'm saying, you have to have that backup fight and fighter just in case somebody falls ill, you know what I'm saying, catching a Rona, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I think that'd be a hell of a fight, man. If Benavidez can possibly get, let's just say he can get Canelo, you know what I'm saying? And as a backup fight, we in real fantasy mode right now. As a backup fight, if that falls through with Canelo, he can get Jermall Charlo. That'd be either that's like a win-win situation, in my opinion. Will something like that happen? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But if I was in Benavidez's shoes, you know what I'm saying, and I could potentially, set up something in that realm, then that's how it's going down. Because you can't be babysitting these belts. You know what I mean? Shout out to Gary Russell, man, who's been a champion since who knows when. You know what I mean? People don't want to fight you. You can't get the fight you want. I don't want to be that type of champion. So if I have to move up or move down or whatever, left, right, in order to, you know what I mean, stay active and stay mobile within or out of the division, then that's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that makes Canelo so dangerous, because he's not acclimated to just one division. You know what I'm saying? Canelo can move up, down, left, right. He has a lot of options, and those options is power, especially if you are an A-side top level fighter like Saul Canelo Alvarez. So if you're trying to land one of those fights with Canelo, if you're a Benavidez, you know what I'm saying, you might have to compromise on certain things, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you're a true champion, a true fighter, it's about becoming champion. Yeah, you want to get paid, but at the same time, the money is going to come tenfold if you become champion. So focus on getting that belt. Don't price yourself out, you know what I mean? If you got to take that 60-40 or 70-30, Terrence Crawford, take what you got to take to get what you got to get to solidify your legacy. So until the next one, catch you guys on the next one, man. See you guys next round. Do your best to stay blessed, stay motivated, stay humble, more importantly, and guard up, mask up. I catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your boy, man. Catch you on the next round, man. Peace.